Yeah, it really did surprise me because Turley is a partisan. Let's make no mistake about it. He is very frequently taking the side of Republicans on pretty much every issue. So it's really remarkable that he took. I think he made a truthful statement there that there's not enough evidence for impeachment. I think what's interesting here, what really sets us apart from other impeachments, is that there really aren't specific allegations yet. In other words, you played just a moment ago some statements by members of Congress. I view that as more innuendo rather than specific allegations. It sets it apart from some of the impeachments we've seen before, of, for example, President Clinton or President Trump.
Yeah, and we had Republicans on NewsNation all day who were saying they were sort of underwhelmed today. But, I mean, isn't it fair to sort of point out that this is just the start of the inquiry? I mean, it is an inquiry, so aren't they going to figure out more as they go along, find new evidence as they go?
Well, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I will say, somebody who used to investigate crime for a living, that just opening an investigation can have a very substantial impact on someone. In fact, being, quote, under investigation, right, can ruin someone's life and make them pay a very significant price. And I really think that's part of what's happening here. Is there's an attempt to lower the bar for impeachment by saying, even though we don't really have evidence of wrongdoing or even a specific allegation, we're going to look into some, vague innuendo. I think that it's a dangerous precedent for our country. I think we're better off at setting a higher bar for impeachment. But I suppose we're going to see what comes of this. Right now, as you pointed out, there's some division even within the Republican Party about where this should go.
Do they have subpoena power at this point, Renato, when it's an inquiry? I mean, can they start subpoenaing people and make them come in to testify?
They can. I mean, I really think that's what this is about. From a legal perspective, Congress has an enumerated power in the Constitution to impeach and presumably to investigate matters related to impeachment. So I think the House is at its strongest point when it's trying to gather evidence for something like that. So I suspect they're going to use this power to bring witnesses in, perhaps for, obviously impeachment is a political process, but certainly for political purposes. And I guess we'll see what comes of that.
Something else that struck me today was that it seemed like none of the witnesses that they brought in had actual real direct knowledge. They were all sort of like secondary, it almost felt like. I was waiting for almost like the star witness for day one, and it just didn't seem to come.
Yeah, I think that's because that person isn't there. I mean, let's face it, I don't think the Republicans are trying to pull punches on President Biden or his son or anyone associated with him. I think the reality is they don't have the evidence. They have some text messages that were sent by his son and some loose language that was used by his son, who's clearly very troubled or was very troubled. But there really isn't much more than that, which is why their own witnesses said that they haven't met the standard. So I really have a lot of trouble believing this is going to go anywhere, because realistically, impeachment inquiries and the impeachment process is usually something that happens after an investigation. After, let's say, Kenneth Starr investigates a matter and produces a report, and you can take that report and run with it. It's very difficult to sort of start from scratch and find witnesses when there's really, no specific allegations of wrongdoing.
Yeah, and you bring up the evidence. I mean, it was interesting. A lot of the evidence that they spoke about, a lot of the text messages were from 2017. So before President Biden was in office, he also wasn't vice president at that time. How does that fit?
It really makes this case even weaker. I mean, what they're essentially insinuating is that there's some sort of bribery or corruption here. But of course, bribery is where you trade something official, some official act as, president or senator or vice president in exchange for something of value. But if you're not the president, if you're not the vice president, if you're not the senator, if you're a private citizen, there's really nothing to be trading there. In other words, you're trading on your name or your reputation. That's not itself illegal. So like I said, more about politics than about, I think, a genuine, search for the truth.
Well, we'll keep watching it. Renato Mariotti, thanks so much for coming on with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.